what skincare lines I brought on when I first started my business as a solo esthetician and what I eventually decided to bring on as my business grew. First, I want to cheers because we have Aperol Spritz over here. So good.
We shouldn't have drinking at the same time and had an awkward silence.
No. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So what I started out as a solo esthetician, the first line that I actually brought on, which was a big girl investment, was Skin Better. And the reasoning behind this was because I wanted to attract a premium clientele, typically people who use Skin Better or have heard of Skin Better. They correlate it with premium brands and more medical services. So that was something that was really important to me. That was a non-negotiable personally. And it did help bring in results for home care because I had a really good line. Now, in the beginning, I really just wanted to focus on anti-aging clients, and that was what really helped me build that. And then I also had a smaller brand for my back bar, which was it was called Skin Fitness, which is it's a line based out of Florida. It's a line that I actually discovered and used through my mentor, who has been an esthetician for 30 years. And it was a really good starter line because there was no minimum order. And when we're first starting, it's really every penny counts, every dollar counts. And you really want to start with a line that maybe you don't invest in thousands of dollars in the beginning. Maybe offer, I know Glymed, offers, online education. But as your business does grow, you have to think of the next steps and what that looks like for your business.
Yeah. I want to go back to Skin Better because that moment for us was pretty terrifying. And, now we tell people all the time, like, take those big risks, don't be afraid. But that was one of those situations when bringing on Skin Better that was pretty terrifying for us. And I think we put it on a credit card, if I'm not mistaken. It was something around a $2,000 opening order, which at the time we did not have. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we already had the studio rent and buying all the stuff for the room. And Skin Better was one of your kind of non-negotiables because you wanted to be a, corrective and anti-aging esthetician. Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned, Skin Fitness has some great products, but you felt like they didn't have enough for when people went home. And in the beginning, not having any major devices or machines to kind of pick up the slack, you were like, hey, the home care is what needs to do that. And then, of course, you were using some Skin Better for back bar as well. Mm-hmm. And, of course, using it as back bar also is a perfect sell. So then when it's like, oh, hey, do you like that cleanser I used? You can take it. Mm-hmm. Or not take it, buy it. I just want to talk about that being such a big deal for us. And, with everything else with the studio, it was a lot of smaller purchases, so it was easier to like piece by piece things together. Yeah. And the Skin Better was the first one where you can't spread that out, right? Yeah. Like it was, you got to place the order. It has to be this $2,000. And then we got the Skin Better in before we had the studio. So I remember getting all the Skin Better product to the living room in our 1-bedroom apartment. And we were like, this is 1 month's rent of our apartment right here in a big box. And there's nobody to sell it to yet. Yeah. Right. Because we weren't shipping out any products. So we didn't have the studio yet to even sell products.
Yeah. And mind you, I had known Skin Better. I had known the line for years prior and I worked with it. It was something that I used personally. So it was something that really spoke to me to speak to my clients too. So whatever you bring on, make sure that it has intention and purpose and you're absolutely in love with the line, and make sure that you aren't just carrying something because it sounds fun or maybe it'll be a good fit. You really want to take the lines that you bring into your business seriously and figure out how it's going to serve your client, your current clientele, because again, I always talk about the foundations of your business. Whatever lines you bring on, that's going to be the foundations of your business. Yes, you can wean out certain things or bring on a new line, but you have to think about who's your ideal clientele and what are the lines that you want to bring on. And for me, that was something that I made that decision for. So you have to look at yourself and your own situation and see what makes sense. So let's say you're an esthetician who doesn't know what to start with. I would say, if you have no idea, start with something that, and you're just starting out with your business, start off with something that offers free education. Like even Mixie Skincare, I would recommend Mixie Skincare because she has education. She tells you how to use your products, and there's no minimum order. It's just you have to order quantities of 3. So that would be a good one. You could also start with something like Glymed. Glymed offers a ton of, online resources, education, and they also have great products too. So those are the 2 lines that I would personally start with if I couldn't invest in Skin Better, because I know that Skin Better also requires a medical director. And I was in a really unique position where and this is where you have to think outside of the box. This is one of the number 1 questions that I get is, how do you find a medical director? I actually found my medical director through looking at other estheticians in my same area. And I was just saying like, hey, would you mind sharing your medical director? Because it's something that varies state by state as far as pricing goes. So you really want to be more intentional with your local community and who you connect with, and just figure out the ways that you can think outside of the box to, get numbers, find that medical director if you do choose on to bring Skin Better. But obviously, as you're first growing, it's really important to think about, obviously finances are a thing as you're building, but our medical director was really, really inexpensive. So that's what really pushed me to bring on Skin Better in the beginning.
Yeah, going back to you talking about lines that you bring on first and the importance of making sure that you have passion and that you're excited, especially when with product lines that have big opening orders. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about that too. And I think really for almost like the first 2 years, you should be extremely careful about everything that you bring on, because it's really easy in our industry to see what everybody else has and think, especially when bigger estheticians like Savannah Boda get something and it's talked about everywhere, it makes everybody want to like jump to do that. And I don't think it's a big deal when there's a hot bubbling new product. Yeah. And I think it's great that she has her eyes out and is constantly bringing on new products for everybody. But depending on where you are in a business, and really our first couple years, we watch people some of these people now are coming to the event with us that are speaking, like CC Skin and Skin Solutions by Rachel and Acne Maddie, and watching things that they did, and we looked up to them, and we couldn't afford to bring on those things. Mm-hmm. And I think even if you can quote unquote afford it, or you could swing it, it doesn't mean it's a good time to spend that energy and time into now stressing about selling a new product or selling a new treatment. Mm-hmm. And we know this from personal experience. We brought Skin Pen on way too early in the business, and you were really comfortable with Skin Pen. You've got amazing results at other med spas before, so it was nothing about that. It was just when we were building, we didn't have the clientele, so we took out debt to get a Skin Pen and had nobody to sell it to. Yeah. And now not only did we spend all the money to do it, now we're stressed because we think we need to be selling more Skin Pen services because we bought it and it's sitting there. And now it's just that, and I'm learning this a lot now, is that mental energy, it's sometimes more costly than the actual finances, right? And those are anything in business when it comes to stress. It's why we teach getting premium clients. It's why you bring on good products. It's why you're, when you open up your suite, you open in a good area, because that mental energy, that mental stress is what can take down a business more than the financial stress can. So I like that you always talk about that idea of make sure you're passionate and you're fully understanding of what you're doing, because that has nothing to do with financial. Yeah. That's all in your brain. That's all in the mind. Right?
Absolutely. And I think that when I always think about the Skin Pen situation and all of these lines and these devices that I wanted to bring on right away. And there were certain aspects of my business that weren't ready for a big investment like Skin Pen. So that's like the biggest one that we always revert back to, is that was a learning lesson in the beginning was, I had experience working with the device at previous med spas. So I thought it all tied together right away. But when you're building, you're trying to get that clientele. So until you have that base clientele, then you can grow as your business grows and bring on things like that. Or if you are starting to realize that, hey, I want to start with acne clients, and so you bring on Skin Pen later on to bring it on for scar revision, so you just, as your business grows, you really have to figure out what makes sense with devices and lines. I know some providers that don't carry HydraFacial because they've built a completely different business than mine. So I can't tell you to go invest in a HydraFacial if none of your clients are willing to invest in a HydraFacial. So just always think about your business, how you can take these tools and apply it to yours.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, even for us now, there's devices that you would like to have. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to say really quickly. None of this stuff is going away, right? So like if you don't get a Skin Pen now, you can get it next year or the year after or the year after. It's not going anywhere. These are not trending things. The skin pen has been around for a long time. Hydrofacial's been around for a long time. And we love these investments in business. Don't get us wrong. But don't buy them because you think now or never. And that could be with any lines, any products. Just remember that just because everybody else on Instagram is doing it and the top people in the space are, does not mean that you should. And for us specifically, there's devices like Airlace, or, I know you've explored the idea of Glacial a little bit, and we're mentally not ready. Financially, we can take those payments on, and we can get those devices. So it would make sense in business. It's an amazing write-off. But mentally, do we want to pour that time and energy into training with the new device, finding clients with the new device? And over the next, I'd say 6 months to a year, we probably will take another step with the new device and keep things fresh and new and exciting at Skin by You.
Comment below what you want me to bring on.
Like any of the all your clients are on here. If you're a client, comment below which one you'd pay for.
Glacial, Airlace.
That's it. Are you gonna say like you have one more?
Those are my top two right now.
But yeah, I think that's even for us as I'd like to think a more successful business in the space and in our city. We still we just go really slow with plated. I mean, we could have afforded, on paper afford bringing on plated, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and you didn't. You felt like, okay, I'm not ready yet. Let's, make sure my clientele, I have a good system. The products, I have new products already from Skin Better or things like that. You switched over to Mixi, and making sure the business was all in place. And you went, okay, Chris, now my clients are looking for more, and I need to bring something on because they want more. And the minute you brought on, you sold out within a month, right? So it clearly was an amazing decision.
Sold out again. It's crazy. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
I want to talk, that will lead us back into the storyline of the brands that I brought on.
Perfect.
Yeah. So this is actually really interesting because if you're listening, I hope that this can help you get a better understanding, like what would make sense for you in your practice. So here's my timeline of Skin by You. So I brought on Skin Better, had a smaller back bar for my facials, offered dermaplaning as my advanced treatment, and then making sure that I perfected the client experience, which was learning, which was trial and error because you're figuring out your space, what makes you feel confident and comfortable. But I really did pour into my room. I poured into my marketing of my room. I poured into, with my clients. And, that whole year of me opening up my business was a learning experience. So know that you're not going to just get it down right away. Practice makes perfect as you continue to work with clients. Now, as I continued to work with clients and I was figuring out what else, I like Skin Fitness was not cutting it for me as far as I know this is crazy, but like their product just didn't feel premium. And I was like, I just need to bring on something that aligns with me where I didn't really feel that much support from the brand. And I feel like that's really important when you're partnering with brands is you should feel supported, obviously not on a personal level sometimes, because that's impossible sometimes for brands, but to just feel that support of education and that you have an account with them, So that was really important for me. I was like, there are certain products that I love that I'll keep that I still currently do have in my back bar that like smell good. They're staple pieces for my back bar. But I was realizing that I had this amazing anti-aging line, but people were constantly coming in to treat their acne. And it's something that I felt at that time in my business that was missing. I feel like I don't have a variety of tools to treat acne. And I really wanted to dive so deep into acne and understanding it. And, as you're working through med spas, you're learning as you go. But if you're not an expert in it, it's something that you can start to, lose trust from clients. And this is something that I just personally felt like it was a right investment for my business. So I invested in Face Reality. And that was honestly the best thing that I did for my business. I truly am as far as the education and the products that I was opened up to helped me really treat acne and help to understand where it's formed, how it starts, and just, again, being able to relay that information to my clients so I feel the most confident in the treatment room.
Yeah, I remember when you hit that wall and you had multiple clients asking you to treat their acne. And at the time you were kind of treating it with just Skin Better.
Yeah.
And really trying to remove most things from them. I mean, a lot of them had some maybe external products or things that they were using that could have been triggering it pretty bad. And you had a little bit of information on it, but really you were just trying to fight it with Skin Better.
Yeah.
And you were, I remember how kind of stressed you were, that you felt like, okay, for one, I don't fully understand all the ins and outs of different types of acne. And then number two, you felt, okay, Skin Better is not necessarily marketed to be an acne line. So I'm using things that can work, but then also Skin Better only has so many products. And like I said, their line not being designed as an acne line, you're kind of cherry picking things out to hopefully that works with all types of acne. But I remember how frustrated that you were. And at the time we were still struggling. It was in, I mean, maybe 6 months into the business, something like that. Within the first 6 months is when Face Reality got brought on, and we didn't have a lot of money still. So you doing that and taking that course was a big, I was what, $500 or something like that at the time?
Yeah, it was $500.
And that was overwhelming for us. It's $500 just to come out on information, right? Like that's all you got for, and we still had to place Face Reality order. So yeah, I just wanted to say that even with that, it was, you hit a wall with the clients that you had, and some clients loved you and they had some breakouts and you didn't know how to, you're like, I know anti-aging extremely well, but I'm hitting a wall here.
It was really frustrating in the treatment room to, have some clients that, and this is where like being an esthetician and having a variety of different ingredients is really important, because you need something that's number one, consistent for clients, because when you're dealing with acne, you need consistency. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to break out ever again. But when I brought on Face Reality, it was something that I felt confident and it was consistent. And I just like, I can clear somebody with the back of my hand now. Like, it is something that is so consistent, like I said. And with Skin Better, it was a little frustrating because half of my clients would clear and half of my clients would get worse. And I know that purging is a thing, but I am not a believer in 6-month purging. I mean, as an acne specialist, that gets results within the first 3 months. Typically, some people do take longer to clear, but and that's like typically with your non-inflamed clients. But with your again, it was just so frustrating to have a line that wasn't consistent. And I still cherry pick, which is like obviously the beauty of being an esthetician. Now I can slowly incorporate alpha ret into their routine, things like that. But again, when I'm clearing somebody, I stick to one line unless there's a product like Hyacin from Hydrinity or Trio from Skin Better if they really need more hydration in their skin. But again, consistency was really important for me. And I would say my anti-aging line is Skin Better and Hydrinity plated, and my acne line is strictly Mixi now, and I cherry pick with different lines. So if somebody graduates, adding in, let's say, Even Intense from Skin Better, or graduating them to to Hydrinity or plated for their acne scarring. So just know that the lines that you start with may not always be your go-tos, and that's the beauty of growing with your business and what works best for you and how you feel like these products work best with your clients.
Yep. So I guess we'll go back to the timeline. So after Face Reality, figuring that out, what did you bring on after that?
After Face Reality, I brought on
it was Hydrinity.
Hydrofacial. Oh,
well, I guess
we're not talking about devices.
Yeah, I guess we're mostly going products.
Yeah. So product-wise, I brought on Hydrinity. I remember it was Hydrinity, and at the time, I felt like I needed a better hyaluronic, something that was more hydrating. In Arizona, it is so dry. I was like, help me. Nothing's cutting it out here. So Hydrinity was a line that I was really interested in. I was actually debating between Epicutis and Hydrinity. And I personally, I think Epicutis is I think it's a great line. It just wasn't for me. I didn't fall in love with the product. And again, this comes back to you falling in love with the products that you can sell best and believing in it. Now, I can recommend a product and confidently say that I love it. And I can, with full conscience say that I love it, and I'm sorry that you didn't, because it's something that I believe in and I am truly obsessed with. Not everybody's going to get it, right? Not everyone's going to love the product like you do, but why would I carry something just because everybody else is, or just because I feel like I need to have it? No, I want to be in love with every single product that I carry. So I actually, we met with Epicurus and Hydrinity, and I felt like Hydrinity made more sense for my business. And also they had hypochlorous acid spray, hyacinth active mist, and I felt like that would tie really in with my current acne clients. So anti-aging and tying it in with both, I'm like, oh, this is a double win.
Yep. And I think I want to touch on a few things there. For one, Epicurus, it was always a big struggle for me. I like Epicurus a lot. I'm a pretty big fan. I don't know if I like them more than Hydrinity, but I like them a lot. And we had an amazing meeting with the rep. They brought their kind of regional rep and then one of the head reps, and they were such a big fan of what we did. They've always been really, really kind on social media. Mm-hmm. Epicurus they've been so supportive. We've done content for them in the past, just exchange for product, even though it was just like let's just do it because we like Epicurus. Their masks are great too. And that was a struggle for me because I love them so much as a company. I love the quality of their bottles, all that. But I just want to tell that really quickly because I want to give Epicurus their love still, because we love them as a brand. They just didn't really fit currently with, maybe one day, but they currently don't fit with our clientele. But the other thing I want to touch on that you mentioned is that you searching for a product was because of an issue that you were having in the treatment room, was because you could not get skin enough moisture, right?
Yeah.
And you were struggling even with Trio, which is amazing, as clients were still having issues with dryness. And especially after things like microneedling or, even the peel and hydrofacial, sometimes people get a little bit dry with it. But I love that even you bringing on Hydrinity and Epicurus, which has maybe been like a year and a half or something like that, maybe almost 2 years now. It wasn't because of anything besides the fact that you went, Chris, I'm having an issue in the treatment room and we have to bring on something for my clients. I can't keep just telling them sorry that and just say use Trio 3 times a day instead of 2, right? I need to add something in their routine because they're looking to purchase something that can give that back. And like you mentioned, Arizona is so much different. I mean, we were in Florida and California before, and you didn't have the same issue. At the time, Trio was giving everything that they need when it comes to dry skin. And out here, with it being zero humidity and really, really hot summers, I think that it's just a different skin types out here. And even yourself, I think you've experienced more dryness. But I want to mention that it didn't stem from, like this, even hyacinth mist, it wasn't like let's bring it on because it's fun. I mean, it was an add-on to the hyaluronic, but that's not why, like most people I think would bring on Hydrinity because the mist is so fun and a good add-on.
And I also, at the time, I was revamping my pricing and just the type of clients that I had in the moment. And I was like holding this product. I said, do I have a current clientele that is going to spend $60 on a mist? And at the time, it felt good because I did have a clientele that was willing to invest in their skincare routine. And if your acne clients are like the most loyal clients ever, and if you stick that bottle in front of them, you tell them to buy it, they're like, absolutely, let me add it to my regimen if you think it's good for me. I think that, again, the lines that you carry have to have purpose, and the timeline of me just made sense. And again, I want to go back to Epicurus really quick because I love them. Like I truly do. I love the branding. And I think that there's a lot of estheticians that carry Epicurus and they love it. And I'm really happy for you if you carry Epicurus. Again, great line, great brand, but Hydrinity just made more sense for me and what I personally fell in love with, and the variety with my clients. I do love their face masks. I did use those a little bit in the treatment room.
Yeah.
But
and then
again, Hydrinity, they have my heart.
Yeah, and then you use them at home the most, which is like you mentioned too, is what you're using. That's an easy sell. You know what it feels like. And you weren't a big fan of Epicurus's, what's their serum called? It's lipid serum. There you go. It just wasn't. And it's also funny. You had a couple clients that when you posted about it, were like, I bought some and I wasn't the biggest fan. And they're like, I remember like one client specifically who's like one of your best clients who said that, and you're like, oh, okay, can't do Epicurus then because I need whatever she's gonna buy, I need to bring on. But yeah, so I do want to mention that, maybe one day, it's just like going back to what products you should bring on, is that one day we might go, hey, we have the kind of the time and the freedom and the budget to bring it on for maybe that one client who does want to try something different or who does fall in love with it. And that's great. And I think a lot of people in the beginning think that they need to have every product for that one client who comes in and says they love it and it's expensive and you could get a lot of profit off of it. And we just don't work that way. Like if they want it so bad, we could send it to another esthetician down the road and go, hey, here's a few people locally that sell this product. If you really need it that bad, go buy them. But I'm not going to place opening orders. I'm not going to keep this on my shelf for one person, at least right now in business.
My dream one day would be to carry Epicurus, just to have the option for people who are online shopping. I mean, I would love to branch out. I mean, Chris, I have a goal to do online retail sales eventually, just when it makes sense for our time and our business. But yeah, don't hold us to that. If we ever carry Epicurus, we do love them. It's just what works best for my clientele and what I personally just really, really love.
And the timing, right? That's why I think it's just so important for everybody is to realize that we know Epicurus is going to be there in a year when we have a bigger storefront and we have bigger shelves and we go, people will love the lipid serum. It's a great product. People do love oil cleansers, but right now we do not have the shelf space and the time and energy to bring on new products for a couple people a month. Right. And especially knowing, I know you're a routine girl. So once you get in a good routine, you like it to just stay the same. And I think most of your clients that you've built are very similar. They're not always looking to let me just switch out the cleanser I've loved for the past 6 months and just add something new. Now, maybe they'll like to add things to their routine, but the lipid serum would kind of switch out for the hyaluronic acid that you already have. So most of your clients are like, no, I'm really happy with everything. Keep me on. If you have anything new to add on top of it, I'd be open to it, like Plated. But Plated didn't come and switch out with anything. It just added on top of an amazing routine. Yeah,
I agree. Now, the next thing that I did with my business, besides bringing on, I feel like I invested in more back bar stuff, and those are my main lines. And then the next thing that I did in my business was transition a lot of my clients from Face Reality to Mixi. Ever since they just changed their acne med formulation, I didn't feel supported by the brand. So I decided to switch majority of my my retail to Mixi, which is an amazing line that supports estheticians, that has great products. It's a great line. That was one of the major things that I did with my business was switch from Face Reality to Mixi.
Yeah, but I want to talk about that really quickly is the idea of switching products on clients. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that. It's kind of like the fear of raising prices. And also, I mean, you had a little bit of a fear when it came to switching out products that most of your clients loved and used. So, I mean, what would be your advice or thoughts or encouragement if it's not Face Reality Mixi, but really anybody, if somebody is graduating from Circadia and wants to go on to Skin Better or move on to something like Lyra or is clinical, what's your piece of advice for especially estheticians that are starting with the Glymeds, right? That are just using very simple, easy products, and they want to go, I'm going to sell products that are triple the amount potentially.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember that typically even Glymed's products are pretty pricey. And so let's say that you already carry Glymed. I think it's the way that you communicate with your clients with confidence and making sure that you're always thinking of them first and having so much excitement with the transition of your business. Because number one, if you lack confidence with the way that you're portraying how you're bringing on and switching them, they're like, well, you don't even seem confident. Why would I be confident? So just going to them with confidence and making sure that you are always letting them know that this is for you and it's to elevate the client experience. And something that I've been seeing so much lately is that people are afraid to raise their prices. People are afraid to switch lines or not carry a certain product. No, that's all about the way that you communicate with your clients. And that's really important to have that confidence.
Yeah, that confidence is key. I think especially, Mixi had some of their products are a little bit more expensive than Face Reality. So not only...
Yeah, they're about the same.
I thought there was a few that were a couple $dollars more. Yeah. But I meant just a little bit. But the reason why I say it is that it can make people, if you're not confident, it can make them feel like you switched to a line because it was more expensive and there's more profit. And so that's why I think I just want to touch on again is that confidence in your clients of this is for you. This has nothing to do with me, right? I mean, you switching from Face Reality Mixi because of Acne Med was for you. Don't use Acne Med, so it didn't affect you every day, but you watched it affect clients, and that hurt. And you went, I cannot have clients come into me every single month struggling, right? So I'm going to find something that's for them. And you almost had you had very little pushback when it came to clients because one, I mean, you've built an amazing trust system with the clients that you have, but then number two, the confidence that you displayed of, hey, this is a line to have a more elevated experience at home with your products and to make sure that there's no hiccups in the future, no speed bumps when it comes to your clearing process, and this is what's best.
Yeah, and I even remember saying like I've done a ton of research, I've been testing this line myself, and it's like, when you can bring that personal experience to your clients that this is what's best for them, that's how they're going to feel confident. And if it is like a significant, one thing that I will say is that it's not like I don't carry any Face Reality products anymore. I basically just picked my top sellers that I know constantly sell through, that people like genuinely love and I don't have any problem with. So for instance, Hydro Balance is one product that I still keep on hand because there's a ton of people. I love it. My clients love it. Now I do feel like a lot of clients are slowly starting on their own saying like, hey, I feel like I need something more hydrating, and that we've been switching them to the dewdrops from Mixi and they've been loving it. So just know you're going to keep growing even in that moment of you figuring out that you want to switch a line or you want to elevate and bring on a different line and switch certain products out, is that maybe you will end up keeping a few SKUs from a line because it aligns with your clientele. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, to wrap this up, there's two things we want to touch on. Normally we put these in the middle. What?
Plated.
Oh, do you want to go on? I didn't know we kind of touched on plated already, but do you want to?
Yeah.
You
I'm
can
just
talk about bringing it on
finish off
again.
the story because
sorry.
you can't end a story without saying it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just go really quickly. So the most recent lines that I brought on, Factor 5 and Plated, which that was really scary. Plated was probably the scariest investment that I've ever made for my business, but I was so confident in it and how I could bring it to my practice. And my clients are absolutely loving it. It has been flying through the shelf. The results speak for itself. I mean, I was I was like, why would I invest in a $260 bottle? Like that was crazy to me. But when I tried it for myself, I saw the results and I figured out how I could tie it into my practice, which I do. I bring in their back bar calm for after microneedling treatments, and my clients have been loving it. I've been tying it into treatments. I've been tying it into to where they're repurchasing it every single month. So it's just starting and figuring out how you can bring it into your practice. So for me, it was microneedling and falling in love with a really expensive product, and now it's selling like hotcakes.
Yep. And then Factor 5 too, you are right. I'm glad you finished the story because Factor 5, you only have a few products from them currently.
Yeah. I carry their peel and their Factor eyelash cream.
Yep. And you absolutely love too. And that was also a good add-on product to what a lot of clients already had.
And it's okay to have like smaller orders in the beginning too, because I love a product, but I have to figure out if my clientele, like how much they love it too. So for specifically, I'm like, are people like really going to buy like an eyelash cream? But to me, I'm like, what girl doesn't want long lashes? Like that's something that I always hear people saying.
Yep. And that's it. You tested that one out for a little while before you purchased that as well.
And it's something that's very easily like marketed. So something that I do with Plated is I'm like, this is literally like liquid gold. It's microneedling in a bottle. And people are like, something I always say is I'm like, this bottle is literally like a treatment. Like that's why it's so expensive, is you're going to go home and get those results. And when you tie it in with your treatments in person, you're going to get even better results. So again, all about the way that you word things. So that's my glowing skin aspect of the marketing. Then I go into the Factor 5 eye and lash cream. And going back to the plated hair. So I'm like, longer hair, fuller lashes, glowing skin, you need this trio. And that has been one of those three products are probably my most selling products at the moment because of the way I've been marketing it and posting it on social media. And to be honest, I'm not the best at stories, but my clients that are watching, which is the most important, they see my posts and they're like, give me those. I want them now, you know?
And the eyelash is interesting now that I'm thinking about it, is that if, we would have found that 2 years ago, we never would have brought it on. Like we just weren't there to spend that extra money for, a potential add-on to customers. And same thing with the mist from Hydrinity as well, is that there was a time and place in business that we couldn't have those sit around. Yeah. Right. And it's great now to be at a place where we could bring on things like the eyelash, the cream, and it doesn't need to just fly off our shelves, but it sells consistently and it keeps clients kind of happy and exciting that something new is coming. But a lot of the clients who are buying it, a lot of them have been with you for a few years now. So to them, it's like they've been on the perfect routine from Victoria forever. And now it's like it's such a trust that they have in you, because it's like Victoria didn't bring on a new product every month. Victoria keeps the same good stuff while we're happy. And until she feels like she falls in love with something, then she might bring on one new thing, right? They never feel bombarded with new products all the time.
Definitely. And I think that for me, one product that I've been kind of eyeing my eye on is
I've been
eyeing my eye on, keeping my eye on.
Been eyeing my eye on.
Is Civ. But I'm not kidding. If I would have brought on Civ, this was something I was thinking about 4 months ago, I wouldn't have sold one of those because I literally looked at my clientele and I'm like, how often are people coming to me with eczema or, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like I didn't fall in love with it.
Yeah. And I think that's important too, because your client, if you look at your clientele and you just you give the Jimmy Neutron, think of
I know some people are going to be like, you can use it for a damaged skin barrier, but I don't know. I have so many tools already that I can.
And you're not struggling with that anymore. So why bring on something that you've already know how to fix a damaged skin barrier? And I think the eczema thing, the results are absolutely nuts. But you are right. Currently, you don't have a lot of clients that are coming in and mentioning that.
Yeah, that's a product that will be on my retail shelf eventually.
Because I think it's a great add-on. But is it a right now for us? And if you're watching this, you might be in a place where, oh my gosh, I can count on both hands how many clients I have that struggle with this, depending on where you are in the clientele you have, then yes, it makes a lot of sense. And that just shows that another thing, just because you can't afford it doesn't mean you should buy it. Mm-hmm. And that's important for us. And no matter how much money we continue to make with Skin by You, it's what we always go back to. We never bring things on just to bring them on. It needs to have a place, a process. Everything needs to make complete sense. So now wrapping it up, what are we going to say?
Okay, you guys, it is July 27th. Tomorrow is July 28th. We only have a few more days left for you guys to save money on your ticket to the aesthetic experience. This is a one-of-a-kind of an event for estheticians created by me and Chris. And we're so excited to bring this to the space. There is going to be so much opportunity for you to learn and connect with others in the industry. There's going to be topics such as me speaking on how to build a premium brand, marketing tools and social media. We'll also have strategies on how to build a six-figure business. And then we're going to end up the rest of the day with more education on Acne 101 with Acne Maddie, understanding product ingredients. And then last but not least, we are going to have
dinner and a dance party? Are you thinking about all the speakers? Oh, Glow On with retail sales. Yeah,
retail sales. Speaking of retail, which is what we
you're gonna need Glow Ons on retail sales after listening to this. But yeah, the dinner and of course dancing is what one of the things you're most excited about. Tickets will sell out. We know tickets are gonna sell out. I think there's maybe 60 or so tickets left now. This is the last week before the price goes up, like you mentioned. So it's really important. If they're gonna sell out regardless, you might as well get your ticket at a better price. But yeah, as soon as tickets sell out, we can't open up any more space. There's no more expanding. This is going to be a room full of really high level estheticians. Pretty much everyone who's bought tickets so far, we've had some kind of conversation or contact of, and they're all high level estheticians that we're excited to meet and get to know. These are people that we've looked up to that have killer businesses. So not only do you get the speakers that are going to just absolutely crush their presentations, but you're also going to get a chance during cocktail hour and lunch to meet and connect with other amazing estheticians that are all from across the U.S., some from around the world, that are just going to be having impactful conversations, encouraging each other, helping you decide what retail products to bring on, which I think is going to be amazing even for us, to have that you carry Aerolase. What's your favorite things about it? What's the clientele for it, right?
And make sure you join us for brunch on Sunday too, and meet me on the dance floor because I am ready to go. I don't have good moves, but I love dancing. So if you
said meet me on the dance floor, there's going to be a dance battle at the end.
Yeah, there might be. Who knows?
There might be an esthetician dance battle. That one we won't put the video out. We'll keep that one just for the memories ourselves. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning into another podcast today. If you haven't watched already, we have over 20 episodes with guests that Victoria's done that are absolutely amazing. Victoria and I are on our 70-something-ish episode of these podcasts. But thank you guys for always watching and listening and encouraging. The comments below always mean so much. But yeah, comment below if you guys have any other questions or ideas for this podcast. We're always open and want to give back as much as we can to the community. But if not, we'll see you in the next episode.